I'm a 41-year-old working mom with an elementary school-aged daughter. I usually manage the online store for my dad's food company. Since most of my work involves solitary tasks, I don't interact with people much. I find it quite comfortable. However, recently sales have dropped, and there have been some unfavorable rumors. There were talks about the company going bankrupt. The atmosphere at work became tense and gloomy. Employees whispered in corners, their faces etched with worry. I tried to stay positive, but the stress was getting to me. My husband was very concerned about this. Or so I thought. "Hey, is your dad's company okay?" His tone seemed caring, but something felt off. "Thanks for worrying about it," I replied, feeling a mix of gratitude and unease. "What are you talking about? If you're not rich anymore, there's no point for me in being married to you." His words hit me like a slap in the face. "I'm counting on your family's money." He chuckled, as if he'd made a harmless joke. What? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mind raced, trying to process his insensitive words. Before we got married, my husband was calm and kind. But after we got married, he changed completely. It was like a mask had been ripped off. He was pretending to be someone he wasn't. And he did a really good job of it. His transformation was both shocking and heartbreaking. When something bothers him, he always clicks his tongue. That annoying sound scrapes on my nerves constantly. He's generally sloppy, leaving his used clothes and socks all over the place. Our home looks like a dumpster because of him. I've seen him not wash his hands after using the bathroom. The thought of it makes my skin crawl. He's really disgusting. I feel like I'm living with a stranger. He only contributes $500 a month to the household budget. It's barely enough to cover groceries. Yet he still boasts about being the breadwinner. His delusion would be laughable if it weren't so infuriating. By the way, during a fight a while back, he said something like this. "Who do you think is putting food on the table?" His words echoes in my head, mocking me. No, it's because of me, but I've lost the energy to get angry anymore. I'm too exhausted to argue with his twisted logic. Without knowing, during our early married life, I got pregnant right after we got married. The joy of impending motherhood was tainted by doubt. Back then, I had no idea about his true nature. So I stayed with him for our child's sake. I hoped things would improve, but they only got worse. Of course, I was considering divorce in the future. It seemed like the only way out of this misery. But that day came sooner than I expected. The company I worked for went bankrupt. It felt like the ground had been pulled from under me. Then, my husband's already bad attitude got even worse. His true colors shone brighter than ever. "Hey, is it true the company is bankrupt?" He didn't even try to hide his excitement. "What about the family assets? We'll still get the inheritance, right?" His eyes gleamed with greed as he spoke. This was the first thing my husband said when he heard about the bankruptcy. Not a word of comfort or support for me. Inheritance? What is this man talking about? I was very confused by his audacity. My dad is still healthy and active. The thought of inheritance hadn't even crossed my mind. In the first place, my husband has no right to my dad's inheritance. His entitlement was shocking and disgusting. And then he continued to insult my dad. "Oh well, so much for being a business owner, huh?" He sneered, showing no respect for my father's hard work. That's why I said I should take over. His arrogance knows no bounds. If someone as capable as me had been in charge, it wouldn't have gone bankrupt. I couldn't believe the nonsense coming out of his mouth. Your dad just doesn't have what it takes. Get it? His humor felt like nails on a chalkboard. My husband clapped his hands and chuckled happily. It was as if he was celebrating my family's misfortune. Come to think of it, my husband once said he could take over my dad's company. The memory came flooding back, clear as day. That was about 2 years into our marriage. By then, I already knew his true nature, so I obviously refused. His suggestion had seemed ridiculous even then. I mentioned it to my dad as well. I was worried about my husband's ambitions. But my dad agreed with me. My dad saw through my husband's facade immediately. My husband have issues with his character and lacked the necessary skills. He's all talk and no substance. So, I turned him down, although a bit diplomatically. I tried to let him down gently to avoid conflict. It seems my husband held a grudge about that. His ego was too fragile to handle rejection. I mean, thinking he could just suddenly become the company's successor, it's utterly stupid. His God complex was truly astounding. I also wondered why I ever married such a man. The question haunted me day and night. I was deceived by his charming exterior and I regretted it deeply. The mask he wore before we got married have already faded. As I sighed, my husband continued happily. He seemed oblivious to my inner turmoil. Well, I guess this means we're getting a divorce. He dropped the bomb so casually, still grinning. What, divorce? The word felt strange on my tongue. Of course. I married you because your family's money. His brutal honesty was like a knife to my heart. But you didn't even buy me a car or a house. He whined like a spoiled child. All the gifts went to our daughter. As if our child didn't deserve anything. I was looking forward to the inheritance, but now it looks like I'll end up with debt. His chuckles echoed in the room, hollow and cruel. Got it. I felt a strange calm wash over me. And so, my husband and I decided to divorce. It was surprisingly easy to make the decision. He resisted paying child support, but I managed to get a lump sum out of him. My lawyer was worth every penny. It was surprisingly anticlimactic. The end of our marriage felt more like relief than sadness. Even after the divorce, life for my child and me didn't change much. We found a new rhythm, just the two of us. My husband was rarely home anyway, always out having fun. His absence was more noticeable in theory than in reality. I wish I had divorced him sooner. The thought crossed my mind often. A year has passed, and I'm enjoying my new life. Freedom tastes sweeter than I have ever imagined. Around that time, I happened to run into my ex-husband on the street. The sight of him made my stomach churn. It had been a while since I last saw him, and he was walking with a young woman. They were arm in arm, laughing at some joke. Oh, it's you. Why are you wearing a suit? He looked me up and down, smirking. Oh, I get it, you're job hunting. Your company went bankrupt, right? His tone was dripping with fake pity. I thought you'd be out on the streets. Being unemployed must be tough, huh? He seemed to relish in what he thought was my misfortune. My ex-husband had become even more unbearable. I didn't think it was possible, but he'd sunk even lower. The woman next to him smirked and said, "Oh, poor you." Her voice was sweet, but her eyes were cold. It seems he's found someone with a matching level of intelligence. They deserved each other, I thought bitterly. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm the CEO now." The words felt powerful as they left my lips. Excuse me? CEO. My ex-husband looked completely stunned. His jaw dropped, eyes wide with disbelief. But the next moment, he started smirking again. He quickly regained his arrogant composure. Oh, you mean the CEO's mistress? He nudged his companion, looking for validation. That really got to me. My blood boiled at his crude insinuation. Even though we're divorced, he was once my husband. I never realized he could be this stupid. His ignorance was truly out of this world. No, I'm the CEO of my dad's company. I stated firmly, looking him straight in the eye. Huh? What are you talking about? That company went bankrupt. He sputtered, confusion written all over his face. That company, yes. Didn't you know my dad ran multiple companies? I couldn't help but feel a twinge of satisfaction. I mentioned it several times. His memory was as selective as his morals. What? No way. He looked like a fish out of water, gasping for air. Actually, my dad ran 5 companies. Each one successful in its own right. The one that went bankrupt was just one of them. It was a calculated business decision. And it was a small company with only a few employees. The impact was minimal in totality. After the bankruptcy, all the employees were transferred to our other companies. We made sure our loyal employees were taken care of. Of course, there was some damage due to the bankruptcy. No business failure is without consequences. But it wasn't anything as catastrophic as my ex-husband thought. His imagination had run wild with worst-case scenarios. We deliberately let that one company go bankrupt. It was a strategic move to protect the other businesses. But what do you mean you're the CEO? He still couldn't wrap his head around it. I was worried about what to do after the divorce. The future had seemed uncertain and scary. That's when my dad asked me to train and be his successor. His offer came as a surprise, but a welcome one. That's what he told me. His words were filled with confidence in my abilities. The company where I am now the CEO of focuses on businesses for women. It's a growing market with huge potential. Most of the employees are women. We've created a supportive and empowering work environment. He asked me to become the CEO of that company. It was a challenge I was ready to take on. I gladly accepted. The opportunity felt like a new lease on life. So, you have a lot of money now? Of course, that's all he cared about. Well, my income has increased compared to before. I tried to keep my answer vague and neutral. Then, I'll consider getting back together with you. His audacity was truly breathtaking. Get back together? Consider getting back together? Who does he think he is? The very thought made me nauseous. When I ignored him and tried to leave, my ex-husband grabbed my bag and pulled it. His desperation was pathetic and infuriating. Even I felt like slapping this idiot. My hand twitched, but I held back. Then suddenly, a loud slap echoed. The sound reverberated through the air. It wasn't me. It was the woman next to him who made that sound. Her palm connected with his cheek with impressive force. I've been waiting for you to get divorced for over 3 years. Her voice was shrill with anger and hurt. Don't mess with me. Tears streamed down her face as she screamed. She was furious, her face red with anger. Years of pent-up emotion exploded in that moment. By the way, after the first slap, she started punching him relentlessly. Her manicured nails flew as she pummeled his chest. She cried and screamed so much that her heavy makeup started to run. Black mascara streaked down her cheeks. Well, I can't really blame her for feeling that way. 3 years is a long time to be strung along. I almost offered her a handkerchief. A strange sense of solidarity washed over me. As for my ex-husband, he crouched down, holding his head, and cried, "Stop it. Stop." Pathetic. He cowered like a child, all bravado gone. But I felt a sense of relief. Watching his true nature exposed was cleansing. It was so refreshing. Like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I resisted the urge to stay and watch them and slowly walked away from the scene. Dignity intact, I left them to their drama. Feeling energized, I headed straight to the lawyer's office. There was business to attend to. Actually, I was preparing to file for alimony from my ex-husband. It was time to right some wrongs. Of course, I had a hunch he was cheating while we were married. Little clues had added up over time. I had planned to turn a blind eye if we were to stay married. For the sake of our family, I'd been willing to overlook it. But in the end, we got divorced. And now, all bets were off. Besides, after the divorce, I was fully occupied with my new life with my daughter and my work. There was so much positive change to focus on. Honestly, I had forgotten all about my ex-husband. He became a footnote in my life story. But recently, through a mutual acquaintance, I came across my ex-husband and his mistress's social media accounts. Their social feeds and posts tells a story of betrayal. There were lots of lovey-dovey photos of them posted from when we were still married. Each image was like a knife twisting in my gut. With all this evidence, I was debating whether to file for alimony. The decision weighed heavily on my mind. That's when I ran into him. Fate has a strange sense of timing. And when I met my ex-husband again, he is unmistakably a bigger jerk than before. His behavior only solidified my resolve. So, I filed for alimony against my ex-husband and his mistress. It was time for them to face the consequences. They both made a big fuss, but my lawyer did a great job. Their protests fell on deaf ears in court. Afterwards, it seems they broke up. Their relationship couldn't withstand the pressure. However, she turned into a stalker and is now clinging to my ex-husband. Karma works in mysterious ways. Those two are in for a rough time. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. I'm going to do my best as a CEO while raising my daughter. Balancing work and motherhood is challenging but rewarding. I want to work while raising my child and caring for others. This experience has given me a new purpose. Thinking about severe menstrual pain makes it difficult to work at a regular company. I understand the struggles many women face. I'm committed to making it possible for women like that to work more comfortably. My company is pioneering flexible work policies. We're creating a workplace where everyone can thrive. The future looks bright, and I'm excited to see what comes next.